What's up, guys? My name is Parker, and I'm going to teach you about cladograms and phylogenetic trees. But first, let me explain my picture here. So I only have pictures of cladograms to look at, so I figured this would be a lot more fun than just seeing those, because we'll see plenty of those later. You might see some more embarrassing pictures of me. I don't know yet, so we'll see. Let's get started. So this is a basic phylogenetic tree. A through E stands for the different organisms. The line to the far left that begins the tree represents the common ancestor between the organisms. As the line goes to the right, it splits. The split stands for the trait differences. By looking at a phylogenetic tree, you can determine which organisms are most closely related compared to the other organisms. To do this, look at their common ancestor. For example, organisms A and B have a close common ancestor because they split fairly close, compared to organisms A and E whose common ancestor is back at the beginning of the tree. From this, we can say that organisms A and B are more closely related than organisms A and E. Alright, so now let's add some organisms. This tree shows some of the ancestry of dogs. As you can see, the wolf is the common ancestor of all of these dogs. It then splits into three different groups: European breeds, ancient Asiatics, and modern wolves. It then goes further into the European breed and splits them into herding, hound, sporting, and working dogs. There are obviously more dogs than what is shown, but you can see the idea of common ancestry. Phylogenetic trees can also be made using organisms' DNA, not just physical appearances. This shows 8 organisms and their DNA. The tree is made by finding the differences in the DNA and sorting them. There are 7 differences that are labeled. Feel free to pause the video if you want more time to look at this diagram and figure it out. Alright, so we'll take a short 10-second break. Here's another embarrassing picture of me and my friend Daly. Now we're going to go on to cladograms, which are pretty much the same thing. So here's a cladogram on the left and a phylogenetic tree on the right. As you can see, they are pretty much the same thing, except the cladogram is more slanted and the phylogenetic tree is more straight line-like. But they both tell you the same thing. They both tell you that A and B are closely related while C is farther away, but they're still related. Here is an example of a cladogram based off of physical characteristics. The ancestor is a pink triangle, and as you go up the cladogram, some characteristics change. First, the color changes from pink to red. Then it changes from a triangle to a square, and so on. The changed traits are placed in between the organisms, so everything after that trait change will have it, unless the characteristic changes again. For example, the trait changes color to red. The next two after it are red, but then the trait changes again to blue, so the shapes after that are blue. Organisms in the same species group are not the only ones you can compare. You can also compare any organism. As shown, we can compare humans to shark and lampreys. Even though we are not closely related, we still share a common ancestor. After each organism is a trait that develops, and every organism after it have it, but the organisms before do not. You can also make cladograms based off of the information given to you about the organisms. The data table shows the organisms on the top and the characteristics on the side. First, start with the ancestor. The lancelet has no traits, so it comes first. After that comes the lamprey, because it only has one of the traits. In between the two goes the trait of having a backbone, because all of the others have this trait. You keep going until you finish with the leopard, which has all of the traits. Now it's time to practice. Here's a table of organisms and their traits. A 1 means it has the trait, and a 0 means it does not have the trait. Please pause the video and make a cladogram of what this would look like. You should get something that looks like this. If you did, good job. If you did not, either try again or ask your teacher. Here's another practice table. This one's a little bit harder. Please pause and try to do it. Your cladogram should look something like this. Again, good job if you got it. If not, try again or ask your teacher or someone to help. Alright guys, that's it. Here's the last picture of me my freshman year with Daly and Emma, all bio students. I hope you guys learned a lot, and good luck. Thanks for watching.